Caveman Chronicles, a mammoth waste of time. Part 1. Club first, questions later. Chapter 1. The Great Awakening, in which Gruck becomes the first caveman to wake up, and immediately regrets it. It was the dawn of a new era. Not that anyone knew what era meant yet. Or dawn, for that matter. The sun had simply returned to the sky like it usually did, and nobody questioned why. Except maybe Uga, but she had long since learned to stop asking questions around people who used rocks as hats. And so it was, with great mystery and little grace, that Gruck the Wise-ish opened his eyes, blinked twice, and loudly declared, "I am awake. Therefore, I am God now." No one responded. Everyone else was still snoring or drooling or locked in that bizarre sleep posture unique to cavemen. Face down, butt up, hugging a log like it owed them money. Gruck stood, stretched, and promptly stubbed his toe on a boulder that had definitely not been there yesterday. He howled in pain, tripped on a sleeping squirrel, and landed headfirst into the tribe's communal mud pit, also known as the breakfast table. Emerging with an expression of righteous indignation and a fern stuck up his nose, Gruck shouted, "The world has tested me, and I have prevailed. From this day forth, I shall be called Gruck the Great." From the corner, a large boulder sighed, audibly. "Oh great, it's monologue time," muttered the boulder. This was narrator Rock, sentient, sarcastic, and deeply regretting its cosmic assignment to observe this particular tribe. "Look upon me and weep, O sky!" Gruck bellowed, arms raised. "For I shall lead this tribe into a new age of wonder." Thunk stirred nearby, muttering something about cheese. Uga opened one eye, groaned, and covered her face with a leaf. Spleen let out a sleep growl and threw a pebble at nothing in particular. Unbothered, Gruck marched to the edge of the cave clearing and picked up a stick. He held it high like a sword, then immediately dropped it because it had a beetle on it. After some tactical shrieking, he returned to the tribe with a new plan. "I shall awaken them with the mighty power of sound." "No," said narrator Rock. "No, you shall not." But Gruck had already grabbed 2 rocks and begun smashing them together with the enthusiasm of a toddler on sugar. The tribe awoke in various states of horror, confusion, and primal rage. Thunk blinked at the sound and smiled. "Is it raining skyclaps?" Uga sat up slowly, hair matted, eyes bloodshot. "Gruck, why are you doing this? It's morning!" Gruck beamed. "And I've decided I am the first to awaken. That makes me Chief Gruck." "You were also the first to fall face first into mammoth dung last week," Uga replied. "Does that make you Chief Poopface?" Spleen rose with a vengeance, brandishing his club. "Is there a fire? Are we under attack? Is it the volcano again? I told you the volcano hates me." "No fire," Gruck said proudly. "Just leadership." Thunk raised his hand. "Can I be leader too? I brought a squirrel to breakfast." The squirrel, very much alive and deeply offended, bit Thunk's finger and scampered off. Thunk wept quietly into his mud porridge. Uga stood and addressed the group with the weary tone of someone who had babysat this tribe for too many sun cycles. "All right, let's review. Gruck is not chief. Spleen, the volcano is a mountain, not your ex-wife. Thunk, please stop licking trees. And someone get the squirrel out of the stew." "I say we hold a vote," Gruck suggested, puffing up. "Like the elders do." "We have no elders," Uga snapped. "We did," said narrator Rock grimly, "until they discovered fermented berries and thought they could fly." There was a moment of silence in honor of the Great Fall Off the Cliff Festival, which had not been repeated since, mostly due to lack of participants and surviving footwear. Gruck, ever persistent, clapped his hands. "Fine, no vote. Then I shall prove I am chief through bravery," Spleen growled. "You gonna wrestle the saber-toothed lizard again? Last time it coughed up your shoe." "No, something even braver." Gruck scanned the landscape, searching for a feat worthy of nonsense. His eyes lit up. "I shall climb the sacred tree and yell at the sky." Thunk gasped. "You mean the one with the beehive? Brave." "No," Uga said flatly. "Stupid." But Gruck was already halfway up, swatting imaginary sky ghosts and proclaiming victory to no one in particular. When he reached the top, he struck a triumphant pose. "Behold, Chief Gruck rules from the sky throne!" Then the beehive struck back. What followed was a chaotic blend of screaming, flailing, and a loud splash as Gruck dove into the mud pit again, this time accompanied by roughly 2,000 bees. Thunk clapped. Bee rain! Hooray! Spleen threw his club at a nearby tree. Nature hates us! I knew it! Ugga, arms crossed, looked down at the writhing, mud-caked mess of Gruck. Well, Chief, any final declarations? Gruck, spitting out bees and pride, croaked, I declare mornings are canceled forever. Narrator Rock chuckled. And thus ended the Great Awakening, proving once again that the tribe's greatest enemy was consciousness itself. Moral of the story. If you wake up first, pretend you didn't, especially if bees are involved. Chapter 2. Inventing the Stick, in which Thunk invents the stick and immediately regrets giving it a name. The sun rose. Again, much to everyone's disappointment. Thunk woke up upside down in a bush, which wasn't unusual. What was unusual was the fact that the bush was screaming. Loudly. Thunk! Get off me, you flea-haired oaf! Shouted Spleen, who had apparently chosen the same shrub for his morning rage nap. Thunk rolled off the angry bush with a cheerful grunt. Morning, Spleen! You were comfy, like a squishy rock that growls. Spleen, already vibrating with fury, stormed off to go yell at the nearest tree, which, coincidentally, was also his ex-girlfriend. Long story. Don't ask. Thunk, now free from shrubbery and violence, wandered into the clearing, scratching his head with the kind of focus that suggested he was trying to find a thought in there. And then, it happened. Thunk tripped over something. Something long, something solid. Something pointy on one end and sort of pokey on the other. He gasped. Stick, he shouted. He held it aloft like a divine artifact. Stick! From the other side of the clearing, Ugga groaned. Not again. Gruck emerged from the mud pit, his preferred thinking place, and squinted. What's that you got there, Thunk? Thunk beamed. A stick. Gruck rubbed his chin thoughtfully. I've seen those before. No, you haven't. Thunk said proudly. Because this is my stick. I invented it. It was already on the ground. But I named it. Gruck paused. Well, fair enough. Thunk twirled the stick with wild abandon. I call it Smackwood. He turned and hit Gruck squarely in the knee. Ow! Gruck cried, hopping. Why would you... Thunk hit him again. See? It works. It's like a tree tooth that bites for you. Gruck collapsed, groaning. You're a menace. Thunk nodded proudly. Thank you. Narrator Rock cleared its throat. I'd just like to point out for the historical record, it was a branch. A branch. And now it's being used as a bludgeoning device by a man who once mistook a coconut for his mother. Thunk wasn't listening. He was running around the camp hitting everything with his new invention. Thunk hits a rock. Thunk hits a tree. Thunk hits his own foot and screams, It's alive! He hits the air for good measure. Then, unfortunately, he hits Ugga. Hard. Right in the shin. Ugga didn't scream. Ugga didn't shout. Ugga just slowly turned and looked at Thunk with the face of a woman who had buried 5 husbands and blamed every one of them for rain. Thunk froze. Ugga! It was the stick. It's possessed. Ugga took the stick, calmly broke it in half, handed him the splinters and said, Congratulations. Now you've invented the regret stick. Thunk whimpered and went to sulk in the river, where he immediately fell in. Twice. Meanwhile, Gruck, hobbling and grumpy, picked up one of the broken halves. Actually, this could be useful. He poked a termite mound with it. Huh, termites. He poked a sleeping lizard. Huh, lizard. He poked himself in the eye. Huh, pain. Thunk surfaced from the river with seaweed on his head. Gruck! Gruck! Do you think there are more sticks out there? Yes, said Gruck. They're called trees. Thunk gasped. We're rich! He sprinted into the forest, shouting, Money tree! Money tree! And was never seen again, for 12 minutes. Ugga sat down beside Narrator Rock and muttered, Do you think we're the only intelligent life around? Narrator Rock replied, I think a puddle has more strategy than your average tribe member. Thunk returned, bruised and smiling. I found more sticks. He held up 2. One bent like a question mark, the other too short to be useful. I named this one Pokey and this one Derek. You're naming the sticks now? Asked Spleen, returning with twigs in his hair and rage in his eyes. Thunk nodded. Yes, They're family now. Pokey is the brave one. Derek is shy. Thunk, Spleen said slowly. I once fell into lava and it made more sense than this conversation. Thunk offered him Pokey. Want to hit something? Spleen paused, then grinned. Okay. And that's how the tribe accidentally invented the first stick-based duel. It lasted 6 seconds and ended when both combatants screamed, "Ouch!" and dropped their sticks because splinters. Gruck saw this and immediately declared it a ceremonial rite of honor and bone bruises. Uga threw her hands up. Great. Now it's tradition. Narrator Rock added, and thus the stick age began. Lasted 43 minutes. Ended when someone set all the sticks on fire trying to invent soup. Thunk stood on a log, proud and muddy. I name this new era Sticktopia. No, said everyone in unison. Thunk sighed, tossed his stick, and turned to Gruck. So what now? Gruck pondered. We sharpen it, tie something sharp to it, throw it at things. Thunk's eyes widened. You mean stick with bonus? And so, by accident, invention, and repeated self-injury, the tribe birthed the idea of the spear. Not that they knew it yet. They still called it Pointy Danger Wood. Moral of the story. Just because you discover a stick doesn't mean you should be allowed to use it. Chapter 3. Fire bad, but toast good, in which fire is discovered, worshipped, feared, blamed for everything, and used to ruin breakfast. The morning started innocently enough. Birds chirped. Mammoths trudged majestically across the horizon. A pterodactyl pooped on Gruck. Gruck didn't mind. He considered it a blessing. Sky dung means destiny, he declared solemnly, before tripping over his own feet and landing in the berry bush. Again. Thunk and Spleen were busy throwing rocks at a coconut. Not for any reason. Just general tribal policy, see object, hurl rock at object, ask questions never. Uga was attempting to grind roots for something vaguely edible when she heard the cry. A terrible cry, a triumphant cry, a cry that could only mean one thing. I made a glow stick, Gruck bellowed, holding up a flaming branch. Thunk gasped. Is it alive? Spleen screamed. It's a sky demon! Narrator Rock groaned. Here we go. The branch flickered violently in Gruck's hand, small flames licking upward like curious lizards. I call it fire, Gruck announced. It's warm! It's light! It's... Oh, my hand! He dropped it. The branch landed in dry grass. The grass said whoosh. Thunk yelled, The ground is melting! Spleen dove into the nearest mud pit. I knew this day would come! Gruck frantically stomped at the fire, which only made it angrier. Uga, ever the only one with functioning brain cells, calmly picked up a mammoth ear leaf and smothered the flames. Silence. Smoke. The gentle sizzle of someone's loincloth. Thunk sniffed the air. Smells like burnt wisdom. Gruck looked down. His leg hair had been completely singed off. Fire is a betrayal, he muttered. Narrator Rock chimed in. And thus, humanity discovered fire, and immediately questioned whether it had been a good idea. But despite the chaos and smoldering body parts, something magical happened. Thunk, now poking the fire remains with a stick, dropped a root into the glowing embers. There was a soft crackle, a golden crust, and a smell so wonderful, even the pterodactyls circled overhead in curiosity. Thunk lifted the now charred root. It's brown now. He took a bite. His eyes widened, then crossed, then refocused. It's crunchy soft, like a warm rock that loves you. He handed it to Uga, who took a bite, paused, and begrudgingly nodded. Toast. And thus the tribe gathered, poking things into the fire and declaring their new religion. Toastery. Gruck stood proudly before the flickering flames, arms outstretched. We are no longer just cave people, we are chefs, Thunk cheered. Do we get hats? Spleen threw a potato into the fire. It exploded. Science, he cried. Soon the entire tribe was gathered around the glowing pit of danger, tossing everything in reach into it. Roots, fish, a helmet, Spleen's emotional support skull, Thunk's left sandal. All became toast, sort of. Uga, half proud and half exhausted, began organizing their first ever dinner. She declared a rule. Nothing with teeth goes in the fire. Thunk sadly put down a live beetle. Narrator Rock muttered. And with fire came civilization. And with civilization came gastrointestinal distress. Then things took a turn. Gruck, feeling powerful and also deeply flammable, decided to host a fire demonstration. He lifted 2 fire sticks like torches and began twirling them. "Behold the power of the flame!" he cried, before bonking himself on the head and setting his hair ablaze. Thunk panicked. "He's turning into Sunman!" Spleen shrieked. "Kill it with rocks!" They did. Now unconscious, lightly charred, and steaming slightly, Gruck lay on the ground while Ugga rolled her eyes and poured beetle juice on his head to extinguish what little pride remained. Thunk looked down at him in awe. "Can I go next?" "No," Ugga said. "Absolutely not." "I'll wear a bucket." "No." Thunk did it anyway. Thunk is now bald. After the 3rd hair fire, Ugga called a tribe meeting. "Rule 1, fire is for cooking, not dancing." Thunk raised a hand. "What about fighting?" "No." Spleen raised both hands. "What about worship?" Everyone turned to look at the tiny shrine he had built from burnt toast and mammoth fur. "Fire saved me from the darkness," Spleen whispered, eyes wild. "Now I must serve it." Gruck stirred and croaked. "Am I a prophet?" "No," Ugga snapped. "You're an arsonist." Thunk poked his toast. "Fire gave us food." Gruck, upright now and lightly smoldering, nodded. "It also gave us power, warmth, light, a weapon, a tool." Spleen clutched his skull. "A god." Thunk giggled. "A hot friend." Narrator Rock concluded. And thus, fire was enshrined in tribal law as both sacred and deeply inconvenient. That night, they sat around the fire. They sang songs, ate too much toast, tried and failed to roast a watermelon. Thunk stared into the flickering light and whispered, "I love you, fire." The fire spat sparks at him. Thunk screamed and fell into the stew pot. Moral of the story, fire gives, fire takes. Fire burns your pants off.